Speaking of The Mandalorian, my wife and I like like a lot of married couples, we like to send and share Instagram reels back and forth to each other that we like. And of course, we came across this one Instagram reel, like this one here, where a bunch of fans were at Disneyland and they were at Galaxy's Edge. And as they were going through what looked like the Millennium Falcon, there's a Mandalorian character stand there. The Mandalorian takes off his helmet, and lo and behold, it's Papa Pedro Pascal himself, the internet's pappy. And all the fans go crazy, and, Disney's official Star Wars account puts it up with the video of it, and they write, Pedro Pascal creates us the surprise of a lifetime at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. We all saw it, went around.
I watched that video.
The crowd of people walk around, and there's the Mandalorian, takes off his helmet. It's Pedro Pascal. One problem. It was staged.
I mean,
sort of.
The photo looks staged to me.
I mean, there's an example of the people freaking out when they saw it. It was staged. Again, staged asterisks. Let's actually read what the Hollywood Reporter article says. It seemed like one of those perfectly executed viral marketing moments that Disney does so well. Pedro Pascal, disguised as his Mandalorian character, surprises a group of unsuspecting tourists at Disneyland as they were about to board the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride. I love that ride, by the way, I gotta say. In the viral clip released Sunday, which you can see below, Pascal removes his helmet and the tourists go wild, cheering with shock and excitement and at unexpectedly seeing the Mandalorian and Grogu actor. Disney's Instagram caption read, Pedro Pascal creates the surprise of a lifetime at Star Wars Galaxy Edge at Disneyland. Except the jaw-drop tourists weren't exactly a random group. As quickly spotted by online sleuths, the people consisted of Star Wars bloggers, influencers, and fan creators. The revelation has led to some backlash against the studio, which has leaned heavily on influencers in recent years to generate hype ahead of releases. One fan site wrote, the backlash surrounding the Pedro Pascal Disneyland stunt taps directly into a growing problem for Disney. Audiences no longer trust the company's marketing. Now, to be fair, before I go in on it, to be fair, number one, it was not staged in the sense that the group knew that the Mandalorian's about to take off his helmet as Pedro Pascal. That was not the case. To be fair, number two, Disney allowed those influencers to post about it immediately, identifying themselves that, yeah, that was me. I was there. This was a shocking, wild experience. So it was never like Disney did anything to try to hide that fact. But the reality is, again, when you look at this post here, and they caption, Pedro Pascal creates the surprise of a lifetime, and you watch the video, it is clearly trying to imply that this is just a random group of fans coming through and being shocked and surprised by Pedro Pascal. And here's the sad thing about it. Or the ironic thing, depending on how you want to look at it. Had they put up the exact same video, but as the group of people are walking around the corner, if they had literally put a little caption down at the bottom says, Star Wars invited some of the most preeminent Star Wars fans online and influencers online to come and tour Smuggler's Run, and we had a surprise for them.
Yeah. Done.
It would have been just as effective.
Yeah.
It would have been just as effective. And to be fair, Disney never said this totally random group of average people. They never said that, granted. But had they had this exact same video with the exact same people and simply had a little caption saying, hey, we had some special guests of Star Wars influencers online, but they had no idea what they were about to experience. And then he takes the helmet off and it's Pedro Pascal. And listen, I have no doubt. See the reaction on their faces?
Yeah.
I have no doubt that's legitimate.
The guy in the background is like, wait, is that really him?
Yeah. I have no doubt in my mind that is a completely authentic reaction. But while I am being fair by saying Disney never said this is just an average group, and while I'm being fair, say they did encourage the influencers to get online and reveal that was them that was there, while all that is true, you clearly intended for it to feel like this was just an average group of people. Instead, it was a carefully curated group of people that you knew would have that reaction. Like, I'm sorry, but when you specifically handpick which people you're going to put, again, I think the reaction is legitimate. I totally do. I think it's an honest, true reaction. But when you handcraft and curate exactly and specifically who you're going to put in that group, and you know damn well this is the group of people that will have the biggest response to actually being able to get to meet Pedro Pascal, that's as phony as anything else. Again, I do want to give them credit. It's not like they lied about anything. Totally give them credit for that. But what your intention here is clear. And you didn't even need to do it to get the same reaction or the same response or enjoy the same benefits. Now, look, before I tossed out going to any press stuff or anything like that, and, you know, my motto for the last number of years has been fuck Disney. But that being said, to be fair, you know, I have never had, well, I had several negative experiences with Disney, but never a negative experience where it's like they ever tried to influence or sway my opinion on something of theirs or how I presented my opinion on something of theirs. Even when I came out of the world premiere, I was at the Chinese theater for the world premiere of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. And from the after party, I recorded a video saying, this isn't it, folks. They never once stopped inviting me. They've never have. Okay. I'm just trying to be fair here. Never once did I ever feel in any circumstance that Disney or Warner Brothers for that matter, or Paramount for that matter, ever once tried to influence me to give something a positive reaction. They always just encouraged me to be honest. And that's why I think when I look at this video with that group of people, I have very little doubt that they had no idea that Pedro Pascal was under the mask. No, but nonetheless, by doing something like this that you did not need to do, you reinforce the idea that you aren't honest with your marketing. Even if, generally speaking, Disney is honest with their marketing, there's a perception out there that they aren't. And by doing something as dumbass as this, all you do is reinforce that perception. It was unnecessary. It didn't have to happen. And quite frankly, it was dishonest to your audience because while you never straight up lied, you made it seem like it was something other than what it really was. And I think, look, I don't know if I've ever on this show called for somebody's job because that's a harsh thing. Somebody needs to be fired over this. Like somebody straight up needs to lose their job over this. This was unacceptable and unnecessary and quite frankly, way beneath them. And listen, Disney, you guys have a brand new CEO. Time for you to show the world that you're going to be dead serious about regaining Star Wars' place amongst the most celebrated IP, but also doing it with integrity. But anyway, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Pocket Hose. Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. As you guys can imagine, I'm not exactly gentle with my gear. I drag hoses across concrete over the pool, yank them around corners. I even coil and uncoil them all the time to put them in my camper van when I go out on my movie meetups. And generally speaking, a lot of them don't last. But the Pocket Hose Ballistic has been a totally different story for me. It's incredibly durable, super lightweight, and just makes the whole job easier. One of my favorite things is how simple it is to use. You turn the water on, it expands. Turn it off, it shrinks right back down to pocket size. And it's reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer, the same kind of material used in bulletproof vests. Plus, it comes with the pocket pivot, which gives you 360-degree rotation at the spigot so it moves with you instead of fighting against you. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's CAMPEA to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. Rob, you saw this thing. So a couple of questions to you. What was your first reaction to it when you first saw the video itself? Because I thought it was great when I first saw it. And does any of this surprise you? And what do you think about this?
Well, to quote James T. Kirk from Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, double dumbass on them. Because
Well, double dumbass on
first of all,
you.
it's not as if Disney in the past doesn't already have a long tradition of surprising genuine people.
Yes.
With like Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Remember that?
Yeah, but that was legit. He would just show up.
That's what I mean. He would just
They've
show
done
up.
legit stuff like
legit
this.
show up. Tom Holland playing Spider-Man and just revealing himself to fans. They've been doing this for a long time. And Disney, in terms of bringing characters in to delight fans, you know, this is something they have probably the longest tradition of, because even little kids, they don't know that there's people wearing costumes. You know, the kids think that they're real people, the creatures or the Disney characters or princesses or whatever. But in this particular case, like you pointed out, they could have just said Star Wars influencers, because look, all of us, even us, if you and I were at some event and a guy dressed as Iron Man walked up to us and people recognize John Campea and Rob Burnett is cohort from the John Campea Show. And if an Iron Man walked up to us and there were cameras there and it turned out to be Robert Downey Jr., we would have a delighted, surprised reaction too. And it would say that we were from a show. You know, that's how we would be identified. And you know what? Our reaction would genuinely be real.
You start talking to him about Tough Turf.
So I would totally talk. The first James Spader. I mean, let's face it. You know, when Age of Ultron was the third great team up of Spader and Robert Downey Jr. after Tough Turf and Less Than Zero. But I wouldn't. You're absolutely right, Jonathan. You know me well. But in this case, they tried to pass it off as something it wasn't. And that to me is, why would you do that? You're Disney. You have delighted both professionals and fans for years. And I gotta say, because I watched this clip before knowing this.
Yeah, me too.
And I
Me
was
too.
delighted by this clip. I smiled. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. But then when it was revealed to be staged, I'm like, I felt betrayed. I was like, why would you do that? Like, you don't have to do that. That was genuine. Just say even influencers can still find their inner children.
By the way,
So
I want to
go
address
ahead.
this quick. There are a few people in the live chat who are thinking extremely short-sightedly. There are a few people in the live chat who are going, it's not like when I said, I think someone needs to be fired for this, saying, well, it's not that big of a deal. So they did. Guys, you're thinking small picture. The next time you see a piece of marketing from Disney that's meant to be authentic,
Yeah.
are you going to actually believe it's real? Or is there now going to be a thing in your head going, this is probably fake? And that's the damage. It's not just what this was in and of itself. I'm talking moving forward. Are you more likely now or less likely to think a piece of viral marketing for anything Disney related? Are you more likely to think it's authentic, or are you now less likely to think it's authentic? I bet for the vast majority of it's less likely to think it's authentic.
Go even further, not just Disney, but any company that's going to try and convince you that, I mean, it's just one. Look, the problem is the public trust is betrayed on a daily basis by corporations that are using social media to try and shape our behavior. And every time a corporation tries to pull a bait and switch, it hurts the entire marketing ecosystem. And frankly, I like this kind of viral marketing. It makes me feel good when I see it. But now I can't trust it.
No,
Now I'm
and
like,
you know what? You know why that
what a
sucks for me
bummer.
personally is because those things make me feel good, and I don't think they're going to make me feel good anymore.
That's right.
Like the next time I see, I don't know, Jude. Let's say they do a Skeleton Crew season 2, and they do the special thing where Jude Law goes to visit a sick little girl in the hospital who loves Star Wars. I'm going to go, whereas I would have gone, oh my God, that's one of the most beautiful things. Now I'm going to go, wow, I wonder what agency they found this little girl at. Like that's, and I hate that, but that's going to be my first
and the thing
thought
is,
now.
that's now, I mean, everybody's doing that. Everybody is making this kind of fake content to create an emotional zinger in everybody's minds. And it's just yet another example how the modern age is becoming completely unreal.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. Apparently, they're so desperate to try to market Mandalorian and Grogu, which again, I am seeing 5 times in the next 2 weeks. They're straight up staging fake stuff. Now, again, fake to a degree. I believe the reactions were 100% real and authentic. But anyway, whatever you guys thought about that, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.